Welcome to Tides of Time, where the gentle currents of history guide you into a world of calm and quiet discovery. Tonight, we invite you to step into the misty fields and bustling streets of Victorian England, where the seeds of modern football were sown, transforming a chaotic medieval pastime into the world's beloved game. Picture yourself standing on a dew-soaked hill, the air rich with the scent of damp grass and the distant murmur of a village waking. This 2-hour journey will weave through the muddy pitches of rural England, the smoky taverns where rules were forged, and the vibrant culture that carried football to the world. Picture a sprawling match stretching across fields, hedges, and streams, with no fixed boundaries or teams. Imagine villagers pouring from their homes, their thatched roofs glinting under the weak sun, to join the fray. Men, young and old, from blacksmiths to shepherds, throw themselves into the chaos, their laughter and shouts blending with the squawk of startled chickens. Picture the players dispersing as dusk falls, their figures fading into the mist, the field left churned and muddy, its unruly energy as a spark, waiting to be shaped by the forces of a changing England. Let this scene linger, its vibrant chaos softening into the night, as we prepare to explore how this game found new life in the cities. The game is a release, a moment of freedom for men bound to the plough or the forge, their lives shaped by the seasons and the land. It lacks the structure of modern football, but its spiritual, communal, enduring plants the seeds for what will come. The village grows quiet, the scent of damp earth lingering, and the ball rests until the next festival, a quiet promise of the game's future. There are no referees, no set rules to calls are rough. The ball often wrestled more than kicked, and disputes are settled with a shout or a raised fist. Quickly forgotten in the game's momentum, women and children watch from the sidelines, their cheers a steady hum, some tossing apples or bread, two players pausing for breath. The scene is alive, vibrant, yet fleeting, a burst of joy in a life of toil. The players, dozens or even hundreds, are farmers, laborers, and apprentices, their faces flushed from exertion, their boots sinking into the soft earth. The ball, a heavy leather sphere stuffed with rags or straw, thuds against the ground, kicked with force by men in rough trousers and linen shirts. Goals might be a pair of trees or a village gate, miles apart, and the game could last for hours. Its rhythm dictated by the crowd's energy in the fading light. The air carries the scent of mud and sweat, mingled with the faint sweetness of crushed grass. Each story is crafted to soothe your mind, blending rich historical details with the gentle crackle of a fireplace and the soft hum of Victorian streets. Settle in, let your thoughts soften, and allow the tales of football's birth to guide you toward restful sleep. The fields are treacherous. Imagine a player stumbling over a hidden route, his ankle twisting in the mud, or slipping into a stream, his cloak soaked and heavy. Injuries are common, though rarely spoken of, the pain borne in silence as part of the game's rough spirit. The ball, crude and heavy, splits easily, halting play until a new one is found, often at the cost of a day's wages. Villagers compete fiercely, their rivalries rooted in local pride, and a match can spark tensions, with arguments flaring over a goal or a rough tackle. The air grows thick with shouts, though the community's shared love for the game usually restores peace. The players retiring to a tavern, their hands warmed by mugs of ale. Our journey begins in the rolling countryside, where folk football thrived in its raw, unruly form, a game as wild as the winds that swept the fields. From there, we'll trace its evolution through cities, schools, and taverns, meeting the people and moments that shaped its course. The air is cool, thick with the scent of damp earth and freshly cut hay, the faint bleat of sheep drifting from a distant pasture. Below, a crowd gathers in a muddy clearing, men and boys from neighboring villages, their woolen cloaks heavy with dew, their voices rising in a chaotic hum. This is the scene of folk football, a wild, ruleless game that has echoed through England's countryside for centuries, a tradition as untamed as the land itself. As we linger in this rustic world, let the gentle rhythm of their play unfold, a story of community and chaos, crafted to soothe and captivate. Let the rhythm of these stories, like the steady tread of boots on grass, carry you through the past. Whether you listen closely or drift into dreams, these tales are here to cradle you in the warmth of history. Let's begin. Imagine yourself in a rural English village in the early 19th century, standing on a hill overlooking a patchwork of fields, their edges blurred by morning mist. Folk football, as it was known, is a far cry from the ordered game you might imagine. The game is a communal ritual tied to festivals or holidays like Shrove Tuesday. Yet, this folk football is not without its challenges. Folk football's chaos reflects the rhythm of rural life. As you imagine standing on that hill, the mist curling around you, the echoes of folk football fading into the twilight, you sense the roots of a game that will one day conquer the world. As the mist settles over the muddy fields and the echoes of folk football fade into the quiet of the rural evening, the wild, chaotic game lingers in the memory of England's villagers. Yet, the world is changing, its rhythm quickening as smoke rises from new factories and cities swell with life. The unruly sport of the countryside is about to find a new home in the crowded streets of industrial England, where workers seek solace in play. Imagine yourself leaving the open fields, stepping into a bustling city alley, the air thick with coal smoke. Imagine a match in a cramped courtyard, the goals marked by piles of crates or chalk lines on a wall. Picture workers stealing moments after a shift, playing under the fading light of a gaslit street, their movements quick but cautious to avoid injury on the rough ground. The rules are loose, borrowed from village traditions or half-understood tales of elite, with no referees to settle disputes. Picture a young worker, his hands stained with ink from a printing press, watching a match and dreaming of a proper team. These street games, chaotic as they are, inspire the formation of early working-class clubs, their names whispered in pubs over mugs of ale. The city's energy, its mix of people and ideas, fuels football's spread, its rhythm echoing in the clatter of looms and the whistle of steam engines. As you imagine the alley growing quiet, the players dispersing into the smoky dusk, the game's urban roots feel like a gentle tide, carrying the sport toward a new era of structure and pride. A goal, scored when the ball slips between crates, sparks laughter and shouts, the sound muffled by the alley's walls. These matches are brief, often halted by darkness or a foreman's call, but they are a lifeline, a moment of freedom in lives bound by long hours and low wages. Women, too, occasionally join, kicking the ball in quieter corners, their presence a quiet challenge to the men's domain. The players, factory hands or mill workers, wear patched trousers and worn boots, their shirts damp with sweat from the day's labor. The ball, often a hand-stitched relic borrowed from a wealthier club, bounces unpredictably on the uneven ground, its leather scuffed by stones. The air carries the sharp scent of coal dust and the faint sweetness of bread from a nearby bakery, while onlookers, children or weary workers, lean from windows or perch on steps. Their cheers a soft hum against the city's din, and the clatter of carts as we explore how the Industrial Revolution shaped football's urban evening. Picture yourself in a Manchester street in the 1830s, standing in a narrow, cobblestone alley flanked by soot-stained brick factories and cramped tenements. The pitch is a treacherous. Imagine a player slipping on wet cobbles, his knee grazed by sharp stones, or pausing to clear broken glass, swept in by the wind. Equipment is scarce, balls are costly, often shared across teams, and a burst seam can end a game, leaving players to pool pennies for a repair. Space is another hurdle. Alleys are shared with carts, livestock, or laundry, and a stray kick might shatter a window, sparking a neighbor's scolding. The physical toll is heavy. Workers, already worn from factory labor, risk strains or bruises, their bodies aching as they trudge home to cramped rooms. The air thick with the scent of damp wool and stew. The air is heavy with the acrid scent of coal smoke, mingling with the damp tang of laundry drying on lines strung between buildings. Imagine workers, their hands rough from looms or forges, living in tightly packed rows of houses, their windows smudged with soot. Life is relentless. Days begin before dawn. The air thick with the rumble of factory engines, the scent of oil and iron clinging to clothes. Yet, in the brief hours after work, football offers a spark of joy. Picture a group of men, their woolen caps pulled low, gathering in an alley or a vacant lot, kicking a heavy leather ball, its thud echoing off brick walls. The pitch is no grassy field but a patch of dirt or cobbles, uneven and slick with mud or ash. The distant clang of machinery hums a constant pulse, while the shouts of street vendors and the clatter of horse-drawn carts filled the morning. Here, In the heart of England's industrial boom, football is finding a new life. No longer confined to rural festivals, but embraced by workers seeking respite in the city's crowded embrace. As we linger in this bustling world, let the steady rhythm of their play unfold. A story of adaptation and community crafted to soothe and captivate. The Industrial Revolution has transformed England, drawing families from villages to cities like Manchester, Birmingham and Sheffield. These urban games are a far cry from the sprawling chaos of folk football. The game is shaped by the city's rhythm. The challenges of urban football are many, yet football's urban growth plants seeds of change. As the smoky alleys of Manchester grow quiet and the thud of the football fades into the city's evening hum, the game's urban pulse lingers, a spark of joy amidst the grind of industrial life. Yet, while workers kick ragballs in crowded streets, another force is shaping football's future, one rooted in the halls of England's elite schools. Let us now step from the cobblestone chaos of the cities to the orderly grounds of Eton and Rugby, where the game begins to find structure and rules. Imagine a group of boys, aged 12 to 18, their boots polished and hair neatly combed, lining up on a field under the watchful eye of a stern master. Picture a match at rugby school, the boys charging across a field, their boots sinking into the damp grass, their shouts muted by the weight of decorum. The ball, passed or carried, moves in a controlled chaos, with players tackling one another to the ground, their falls cushioned by the earth. Picture a young graduate, his education complete, carrying his school's rules to a university or a city club, spreading their ideas like seeds. Their fields, with their chalk lines and strict rules, are a bridge between the chaos of folk football and the structure of modern sport. The courtyard grows quiet, the light softening, and this story carries you forward, a soothing current toward the next chapter of football's journey. These boys, sons of the elite, bring football to new circles, their games played on private estates or early urban pitches, their rules debated in letters or tavern meetings. The school's codification lays the groundwork for a unified game. Their written code setons focused on kicking, rugby's on carrying, shaping the sport's future. The air in the courtyard grows still, the boys retiring to their dormitories, their boots leaving faint prints in the grass, a quiet testament to their role in football's the rules written down in school ledgers. Our strict Eton's game limits teams to 11, while rugby allows more, each school refining its code over years. The air is alive with the scent of grass and leather, mingled with the faint chalk dust from the lines. Spectators, mostly fellow students or masters, stand at the field's edge, their murmurs a steady hum, their applause restrained but proud. The grass is soft, meticulously trimmed, a far cry from the muddy village pitches or urban alleys. The rules, though clearer than folk footballs, vary widely between schools, sparking disputes when teams meet. A match between Eton and Harrow might falter over disagreements about handling or fouls, the boys' voices rising briefly before masters intervene. Equipment, though better than in the villages, is still costly. Balls burst, boots wear thin, and replacements strain school budgets. The weather, too, is a foe. Rain turns fields to mud, and cold bites at fingers and toes, the boys' breath visible in the crisp air. Yet, the game persists, its structure a mirror of the school's disciplined ethos. The ball, leather and freshly stitched, thuds softly as it's kicked, its weight lighter than the crude spheres of folk football. Each school plays its own version of the game, with rules shaped by its traditions. At Eton, the field game allows minimal handling, focusing on kicking, while rugby's version permits carrying the ball, giving rise to a rival sport. The air carries the rustle of uniforms and the sharp whistle of a master, guiding the play with authority. Imagine yourself standing in a school courtyard, the air crisp with the scent of polished wood and ink, as we explore the public school's influence on football's youth. Picture yourself in the mid-19th century, standing in the courtyard of Eton College, its ancient stone walls rising around you, their surfaces worn smooth by centuries of rain. The air is cool, carrying the faint scent of ink from open books and the creak of wooden desks drifting through dormitory windows. Boys in starched uniforms, their collars stiff and woolen jackets heavy, gather on a grassy field, its edges marked by chalk lines gleaming white in the morning light. This is where football begins to take a new shape, as England's public schools Eton rugby and others transformed the chaotic folk game into something structured, a sport with rules that will echo across the world. As we linger in this disciplined world, let the steady rhythm of their efforts unfold, a story of order and tradition crafted to soothe and captivate. In these elite schools, football is no mere pastime but a tool for discipline and character. The games are intense yet ordered. These school games are not without challenges. Imagine a boy, his knee bruised from a tackle, limping off the field, the pain a quiet badge of effort. The public school's influence extends beyond their fields. As you imagine standing in that courtyard, the scent of ink and wood fading, the public school's influence feels like a gentle tide guiding the game toward order. As the echoes of schoolboys' boots fade from Eton's grassy fields and the courtyard grows quiet under the evening, soft, like the seeds of structured football take root shaped by the disciplined hands of England's elite schools. The air is warm, heavy with the scent of spilled ale, pipe smoke, and the faint temps of ink from papers strewn across a long oak table. Imagine Ebenezer Cobb Morley, a solicitor with a steady gaze, his pen scratching notes as he calls for order. Picture the debate unfolding, the men poring over proposals, their fingers tracing lines of ink. Eton's rules, with their focus on kicking and minimal handling, clash with rugby's, which allow carrying and tackling. The men, weary but resolute, raise their mugs in a subdued toast. The clink of glass, a soft echo of their shared vision. Picture the men leaving the tavern, their figures fading into London's foggy streets. Their work a foundation for the game's future. The FAS rules, though contested by some, give football a structure, a common language that will carry it beyond England's shores. The tavern's warmth lingers, the flicker of gas lamps softening, and the story of this gathering feels like a gentle tide, shaping the game's path toward new horizons. The rules are simple yet revolutionary. 11 players per side, no carrying, goals scored by kicking the ball between posts. The tavern grows still, the air cooling as patrons depart, leaving the scent of ink and wood smoke behind. These rules, printed in newspapers and sent to clubs, spread slowly, carried by letters and word of mouth, their impact rippling through England's cities and towns. The room hums with tension. Imagine a schoolmaster, his voice firm, defending rugby's rougher style, while a merchant argues for a simpler game, better suited to urban pitches. The ball, a leather sphere resting on the table, becomes a silent witness, its stitches worn from countless games. Compromise emerges slowly. The group agrees to ban hacking and limit handling, leaning toward a kicking game that'll define modern football. Around him sit representatives from clubs like Barnes and Blackheath, their faces lit by the flickering glow of gas lamps, their hands clutching mugs or rule books from their alma maters. The men debate how to standardize equipment, their voices mingling with the tavern's hum, the scent of ale and tobacco thick in the air. Regional pride adds friction. Northern clubs, absent from the meeting, cling to their own rules, while London's elite dominate the discussion, their wealth evident in their polished boots. Time is another four-meetings stretch late into the night, the gas lamps dimming as they wrestle with details like offside rules or the size of goals, their papers piling higher. The table is littered with papers handwritten codes from Eton, rugby, and others, each outlining a different vision of football. Some advocate for kicking only, others for carrying the ball, their voices rising briefly before settling into measured discussion. The air carries the clink of glass and the rustle of pages, a quiet backdrop to their work. You're seated among a group of men lawyers and merchants, their woolen coats dusted with the day's soot, their voices low but earnest as they debate the future of football. This is the moment the Football Association, or FA, is born, a gathering that will weave the game's scattered threads into a single, unified sport. As we linger in this smoky tavern, let the steady rhythm of their efforts unfold. A story of compromise and vision crafted to soothe and captivate. Yet, the game's journey is far from complete. It now seeks a unified voice to bind its scattered rules. Let us step from the orderly grounds of rugby and Eton into the smoky warmth of a London tavern, where men gather to forge a new path for football. Imagine yourself seated at a warm wooden table, the air thick with the clink of ale mugs and the flicker of gas lamps, as we explore the formation of the Football Association, a moment that will shape the game's future. Picture yourself in London, October 1863, inside the Freemasons' Tavern, a bustling pub tucked into a narrow street, where the city's pulse hums with life. The men gathered here are a mix of idealists and pragmatists, drawn from London's clubs and public schools. The task is daunting: to create a single set of rules for a game fractured by tradition. The challenges are not just philosophical. Picture the practical hurdles. Some clubs lack the funds for proper balls or pitches. Their games played on borrowed fields with makeshift goals. The FAS formation is a quiet triumph. Imagine the moment the rules are finalized, 14 in all, scratched onto a final draft by lamplight. This moment is a turning point, but not an end. As the glow of gas lamps dims in the Freemasons' tavern, and the men of the Football Association disperse into London's foggy night, their newly crafted rules linger, a quiet blueprint for a game taking shape. The tavern's warmth fades, but the pulse of football grows stronger, ready to spill from meeting rooms onto the pitches of England's towns and cities. The air is crisp, carrying the damp scent of sodden earth and the faint temps of coal smoke drifting from nearby chimneys. A group of players, clad in heavy woolen kits, long shorts, thick shirts. Picture a player, his shirt stained with mud, charging toward the goal, only to be tackled by an opponent, their bodies tumbling to the ground in a tangle of limbs. Imagine a match between Sheffield FC, the world's oldest club, and a rival from a nearby town, their players driven by more than sportive desire to prove their community's strength. Imagine a young player, his face flushed with effort, scoring his first goal, the ball rolling past a makeshift post as his teammates cheer. The crowd, small but devoted, includes workers who've slipped away from factories, their hands still stained with oil, and women who watch from the sidelines, their voices soft but proud. These games, played on borrowed fields under gaslit skies, are a bridge between the chaos of folk football and the sport's modern form, their rivalries laying the groundwork for a growing passion. The air grows still as the match ends, the players trudging off, their boots leaving prints in the mud, a quiet testament to their role in football's story. Sheffield's men, many of them steel workers, play with a grit honed in the city's forges, their boots scuffed but sturdy. Their rivalries, though modest, spark a fire that was spread across England, uniting communities in a shared love. The field grows quiet, the lights softening, and this story carries you forward, a soothing current toward the next chapter of football's evening. The air grows tense as a goal is contested, voices rising briefly before settling into laughter or grudging respect. These early rivalries, though less intense than modern derbies, carry weight. A victory might be celebrated in a local pub, the clink of ale mugs and the warmth of a fire sealing the bond between players and fans. The FAS rules forbid hacking, but tackles are still fierce, and disputes flare over offside calls or fouls, settled by a referee's whistle or a captain's word. The crowd's murmurs rise, their voices a gentle hum, as a goal is scored, the ball slipping between the posts, sparking a ripple of applause. The scent of wet wool and grass fills the air, mingled with the faint sweetness of pipe smoke from onlookers, creating a scene both lively and grounded in the rhythm of Victorian life. And sturdy boots chase a leather ball, its thud echoing across the field as it bounces on the rough ground. This is the dawn of organized football, where the Football Association's rules are put to the test, and rivalries between clubs spark a new passion for the game. Picture the pitch after a rain, its surface a mire of mud, players slipping as they chase the ball, their kits heavy and sodden. Equipment is a constant struggle, balls, costly and fragile, burst under rough play, halting games until a replacement is found. Boots, often shared or second-hand, were thin, and injuries like sprained ankles or bruised shins are common, born with quiet resolve. The lack of standardized pitches means some fields are too small or sloped, complicating play, while referees, new to their role, struggle to enforce the FAS rules, their whistles barely heard over the crowd's hum. The weather, too, is a 4 games played in fog or drizzle test endurance, the air sharp with cold. As we linger in this lively yet fleeting scene, let the steady rhythm of their play unfold, a story of competition and camaraderie crafted to soothe and captivate. Let us now step from the smoky air of debate into the open fields where these rules are tested, where players bring the game to life. Imagine yourself standing on a muddy pitch, the air sharp with the scent of wet grass and leather, as we explore the early matches and rivalries that defined football's new era. Picture yourself in a small English town in the late 1860s, standing at the edge of a makeshift pitch, its grass uneven and patched with mud, surrounded by a sparse crowd of onlookers. These early matches are a blend of structure and chaos, guided by the FAA's fledgling rules. Imagine a game between two local clubs, perhaps Barnes and Richmond, on a field marked by ropes and wooden posts. The goals simple frames of timber without net. The players, a mix of clerks, shopkeepers, and young professionals, move with purpose but little finesse, their boots sinking into the soft earth. The ball, freshly stitched but heavy with damp, requires force to kick, its path erratic on the uneven turf. The air carries the sound of leather meet and leather, punctuated by the players' shouts and the soft cheers of workers and curious passers-by huddled under umbrellas or wrapped in woolen scarves. The matches are vibrant but rough. Rivalries begin to take shape, fueled by local pride. The challenges of these matches are many, yet these matches are the crucible where football's spirit is forged. As you picture the pitch emptying, the crowd dispersing into the dusk, the scent of wet grass fading, these early marches feel like a gentle tide, carrying the game toward new horizons. As the muddy pitch grows quiet and the echoes of early matches fade into the twilight, the spirit of football takes hold, its rivalries binding communities across England's towns. The game, now shaped by the Football Association's rules, is no longer confined to local fields, but is beginning to ripple outward, carried by the pulse of a changing nation. Let us now step from the churned earth of those early games to the broader landscape of Victorian England, where railways and newspapers spread football's reach. Picture a newsstand in a bustling market, its wooden frame groaning under piles of papers, their pages crisp with the smell of fresh ink. Imagine a tavern in Birmingham, its walls dark with soot, where workers gather after a match, their boots muddy from a nearby pitch. Imagine a team arriving late by train, their match delayed by a broken engine, the air thick with frustration and steam. Picture a young boy, his hands clutching a tattered newspaper, reading about a match and dreaming of his own game on a village green. The railways carry players and ideas, the press amplifies their stories, and communities embrace the sport. Their cheers a thread binding England's heart. The station grows quiet, the trains whistle fading into the dusk, and the scent of newsprint lingers, a reminder of football's growing reach. This story, like a gentle tide, carries the game toward new horizons, its rhythm echoing in the lives of those who play and watch. Pitches vary widely. Some are muddy fields, others cobbled lots, their uneven surfaces testing players' skill and patience. The FAS rules, though spreading, face resistance. Northern clubs cling to older codes, their matches a mix of kicking and handling, sparking debates that linger in letters to newspapers. Equipment remains, costly balls burst, goalposts splinter, and replacements strain meager budgets. The weather, too, is a foe. Rain turns pitches to mire, and fog obscures play. The air sharp with cold as players shiver in their woolen kits. The air is warm, thick with the scent of spilled beer and roasted meat. As men recount a goal or a disputed foul, their voices a steady hum. Posters, hand-drawn and pinned to walls, announce upcoming games, their ink smudged but bold. In villages, too, football takes root. Picture a church hall where a vicar organizes a match, the air filled with the scent of polished wood and candle wax, the community uniting to cheer their team. These gatherings, small but vital, weave football into daily life, its rhythm a constant in a changing world. Titles like The Sporting Life or Bell's Life in London dedicate columns to football, their reports detailing matches, scores, and disputes over rules. Imagine a worker, his hands stained with factory grease, pausing to read about a Sheffield FC victory, his eyes tracing the printed words under the flicker of a gas lamp. These reports, shared in pubs or read aloud in homes, spark conversations, their details debated over mugs of ale. The air carries the rustle of pages and the faint sweetness of pipe smoke. As football stories reach readers from London to the northern mills, imagine yourself standing by a bustling train station, the air thick with steam and the scent of inky newsprint. As we explore the spread of football culture, a story woven to soothe and guide you deeper into rest. Picture yourself in a bustling railway station in the heart of England in the 1870s, where the platform hums with the clatter of iron wheels and the hiss of steam escaping from a locomotive. The air is heavy with the scent of coal smoke and hot metal, mingled with the faint tang of ink from stacks of newspapers bundled for delivery. Travellers, their woolen coats brushing against one another, clutch tickets and broadsheets, their eyes scanning headlines about trade, politics, and, increasingly, football. This is the era when football begins to weave itself into England's cultural fabric, carried by the iron tracks of railways and the printed words of a growing press, transforming from a local pastime into a national passion. As we linger in this vibrant world, let the steady rhythm of this story unfold, a tale of connection and growth, crafted to calm and captivate. The railways, sprawling across England like veins, are the lifeblood of football's spread. Imagine a train rattling through the countryside, its wooden carriages creaking, carrying workers, clerks, and enthusiasts to marches in distant towns. The journey, long and jolting, is alive with anticipation. Men in flat caps discuss the latest game, their voices mingling with the rhythmic chug of the engine. A club from Sheffield might travel to Manchester, their leather ball tucked under a seat, to face a rival team on a borrowed field. The air in the carriage carries the scent of tobacco and damp wool, while outside, fields give way to smoky cities, their chimneys looming like sentinels. These trips, made possible by the railway's reach, knit towns together, spreading football's rules and rivalries far beyond their origins. Newspapers, to fuel the game's rise. The game's culture grows in pubs and community halls. Challenges accompany this growth. Yet, football's culture flourishes. It spread a quiet triumph. As the steam trains roll away and the rustle of newspapers fades into the evening's quiet hum, football's rhythm spreads across England, carried by iron tracks and inky pages. The game, once confined to villages and schoolyards, now pulses in the nation's growing cities, finding a new home among those who toil in factories and mills. The wooden tables are worn, scarred by years of use, and the walls are adorned with handbills announcing local Imagine its early member scuttlers, blacksmiths, and clerks gathering after work on a patch of uneven grass near the city's edge. Picture a match day, the workers gathering under a grey sky, their caps pulled low against the drizzle. Spectators, including wives and children, stand at the field's edge, their cheers a soft hum against the city's industrial drone. Equipment is a constant struggle. Balls, costly and fragile, burst under rough play, and boots wear thin, their soles patched with whatever can be found. Imagine a young player, his hands calloused from the mill, scoring a goal that lifts his team to victory, his name whispered with pride in the pub. Their grit and camaraderie laid the foundation for a sport that will unite millions, its rhythm echoing in the lives of those who play for love, not wealth. The air grows still, the clang of industry fading, and this tale carries you forward, a soothing current toward the next chapter of football's journey. These clubs give voice to communities. Their marchers are stage 4 workers to claim respect in a society divided by class. Sheffield FC's legacy, and that of its peers, spreads through the north, inspiring teams in Manchester, Birmingham, and beyond. The pub grows quiet, the fires glow softening, and the scent of ale lingers, a reminder of the warmth these clubs bring to their people. Injuries, like bruised chins or sprained wrists, are common, borne with quiet endurance by men accustomed to the factory's grind. Finding space is another hurdle. Fields are often shared with livestock or fairs, and a stray kick might spark a farmer's ire. The FAS rules, though adopted, are sometimes bent, with local variations persisting, causing friction in matches against other clubs. The game follows the FAS rules, but with a working-class twist, fierce but fair, with tackles that test the body's limits but avoid the roughness of folk football. A goal, scored through a wooden frame, sparks laughter and applause, the sound echoing off nearby tenements. Afterward, the players retire to the pub, their hands warmed by mugs of ale, the air alive with stories of the match and plans for the next. The pitch, far from the manicured fields of public schools, is studded with stones and patched with mud, its boundaries marked by ropes or chalk. Imagine a group of workers, their wages pooling coins to buy a ball or rent a field, their hands stained with soot or dust. Sheffield FC, and others like Notts County, emerge from such efforts, Their name's a banner for local identity. The clubs organize matches against rivals, often nearby factories or neighboring towns, fostering rivalries that burn quietly but fiercely. The air in the pub grows lively as men debate a disputed goal, their voices mingling with the clink of glasses and the crackle of a fire in the hearth, a warmth that binds them through long winters. The players wear simple woolen shirts, often patched, their boots scuffed from factory floors. The ball, a shared treasure, thuds heavily against the ground, its leather worn but sturdy. The air carries the scent of damp earth and sweat, mingled with the distant clang of hammers from nearby mills, as the players chase the ball with a grit born of their daily toil. Around you, steelworkers and factory hands, their hands rough from forging blades or weaving cloth, share stories of the day's labor and the games to come. This is the birthplace of working-class football clubs, like Sheffield FC, the world's oldest, where men of modest means claim the game as their own, weaving it into the fabric of their lives. As we linger in this warm, communal space, let the steady rhythm of their story unfold, a tale of resilience and pride crafted to soothe and captivate. Let us step from the bustling stations and smoky newsstands into the heart of industrial communities, where working-class clubs take root. Imagine yourself in a crowded pub, the air warm with the scent of ale and the clang of machinery still echoing. As we explore the role of working-class clubs in shaping football's rise, picture yourself in Sheffield, in the early 1870s, seated in a dimly lit pub near a steel mill, where the air is thick with the scent of spilled ale, pipe smoke, and the faint metallic temps of industry. Sheffield FC, founded in 1857, is a beacon for working-class football. These clubs are more than teams. They are community hubs. The formation of these clubs is driven by pride and necessity. Challenges are ever present. Picture a match halted by rain, the pitch turning to a quagmire, players slipping as they chase the ball, their kits heavy with mud. Yet, these working-class clubs are the heartbeat of football's growth. As you picture the players leaving the pub, their figures fading into Sheffield's smoky streets, the story of working-class clubs feels like a gentle tide, carrying football deeper into England's heart. As the warmth of Sheffield's pub fades and the voices of working-class players dissolve into the smoky night, their clubs stand as pillars of a growing football culture rooted in the grit and pride of England's industrial heart. Yet, as the game spreads, it sparks debates that echo beyond the pitch, touching the moral fabric of Victorian society. Let us now step from the lively clamour of working-class matches into the quiet halls of power, where voices in churches and Parliament weigh football's value. Football, to him, carries the stain of its folk roots, chaotic, unruly, a threat to public order. The air grows heavy as he describes injuries from rough tackles, men carried from fields with twisted limbs or bruised faces, their pain a quiet reminder of the game's physical toll. Picture the practical struggles local councils, pressured by complaints, ban games on public land, forcing clubs to cramped, borrowed fields, their grass worn thin by use. Reformers promote the game as a moral good, organizing matches for charity, their proceeds aiding the poor. The air warm with the scent of bread shared at community gatherings. Its critics and champions, though divided, forge a path where the game can thrive. Its rules a framework for a nation's passion. The air grows still, the rustle of papers softening, and this story carries you forward, a soothing current toward the next chapter of football's journey. The game's advocates, from vicars to MPs, see its potential to unite, their voices a steady hum in halls and taverns. Football begins to shed its unruly past, its rhythm aligning with Victorian values, a sport that balances vigor with restraint. Injuries remain a concern. A broken ankle or strained shoulder, common in rough play, can cost a worker his wages, a burden borne in silence. The game's rules, though standardized by the FA, are still debated, with some clubs clinging to older, rougher codes, their matches sparking disputes that linger in letters to editors. The air carries the rustle of such letters, their ink smudged by hurried hands, as communities grapple with football's place in a society bound by order and faith. Newspapers, their pages crisp with ink, report broken windows or trampled crops from village games, fueling fears that football stirs disorder. The scent of ink lingers as he unfolds a broadsheet, its headlines warning of mob football disrupting the Sabbath, a sin in the eyes of the devout. Imagine yourself in a dimly lit study, the air thick with the rustle of papers, Imagine a church sermon, the air thick with incense, where a preacher cautions against football's temptations, urging young men to seek virtue in prayer rather than play. His voice, though calm, carries weight, warning of idleness and brawls. The game's energy a spark that could ignite unrest. In contrast, reform-minded MPs, their papers rustling in oak-panelled rooms, argue for football's benefits, seeing it as a way to uplift workers, their lives worn by factory labor. They point to clubs like Sheffield FC, where men play with purpose. Their matches a fleeting escape from the clang of machinery and the scent of oil. The air in these debates is charged but measured, a balance of hope and caution, and the hum of solemn voices, as we explore the moral debates that shaped football's place in Victorian England. Picture yourself in London in the 1870s, seated in a sombre study within a grand church hall, where the air carries the faint scent of polished wood and wax from flickering candles. The walls are lined with heavy books, their leather bindings worn, and a stack of parliamentary papers rests on a desk, their pages rustling softly in a draught. You're surrounded by clergymen, educators, and civic leaders, their faces stern under starched collars, their voices low as they discuss the merits and dangers of football, a game now spreading through cities and villages. This is the heart of Victorian England's moral debate over football, a contest between its promise of discipline and its shadow of roughness, a conversation that will shape the sports part. As we linger in this quiet space, let the steady rhythm of their words unfold, a story of values and contention crafted to soothe and captivate. Football, by this time, is no longer just a game, but a subject of scrutiny. Imagine a vicar, his hands folded over a well-worn Bible, arguing that football fosters teamwork and vigor among young men, a bulwark against idleness in an industrial age. The air hums with his measured tone, the scent of candle wax mingling with the faint must of old books. He envisions the game as a moral force, channeling energy into orderly play. Its rules a mirror of Victorian ideals: discipline, fair play, and community. Across the table, a schoolmaster nods, citing matches at Eton or Rugby, where boys learn resilience on the field, their boots thudding on grass, their efforts a lesson in character under the watchful eyes of masters. Yet, not all share this view. Picture a magistrate, his brow furrowed, recounting tales of rowdy matches where crowds clashed, their shouts echoing through muddy streets. The debate extends to parliament and pulpits. Challenges abound in navigating this divide. Yet, the debate shapes football's future. Imagine a compromise. Emerging schools and clubs adopt stricter rules, banning dangerous tackles, their fields marked with clearer lines to curb chaos. As you picture the study growing quiet, the candles flickering low, the scent of wax fading, this moral debate feels like a gentle tide, guiding football toward acceptance. As the candlelit study grows quiet, and the debates over football-less morality fade into the stillness of the Victorian night, the game's place in England's heart grows clearer, its rules and spirit shaped by compromise and conviction. From the halls of power, we now step onto the muddy fields where football's new structure is tested, where the game's first formal competition takes root. The air is cool, heavy with the scent of damp grass and the faint smoke of gas lamps flickering along the sidelines. A crowd of 2,000 gathers, their woolen coats and scarves brushing against one another, their murmurs rising like a soft tide as they await the first FA Cup final. Picture the players, their shirts loose and woolen, charging across the field, their boots slipping on slick patches. Imagine gentlemen in top hats, standing beside clerks and tradesmen, their faces flushed with excitement, their breath visible in the chilly air. Picture the logistical struggles teams travel by train or horse-drawn coach, their journeys delayed by fog or muddy roads, the air thick with steam or dust. Imagine the wanderers lifting their trophy, a modest silver cup, their hands cold but proud as the crowd offers polite applause. The match, reported in newspapers, spreads football's fame, its details read aloud in pubs, the scent of ink and ale mingling as fans recount the goal. This competition, born in the mud of the Oval, sets a precedent, inspiring clubs across England to join. Their match is a new ritual in a changing nation. The air grows still as the crowd disperses, their figures fading under gaslit skies. The pitch left churned but silent, a testament to football's growing legacy. The pitches vary widely. Some, like the Oval, are decent, but others are rutted fields, their surfaces treacherous underfoot. Its first final, modest yet momentous, binds communities in a shared passion. Its rhythm, a pulse in England's heart. The air grows quiet, the cheers fading, and this story carries you forward, a soothing current toward the final chapter of football's Victorian journey. Equipment is a hurdle balls burst mid-match, their leather splitting, and goals, often just posts without nets, spark disputes over whether a shot crossed the line. Injuries, though less brutal than in folk football, linger. A twisted ankle or bruised shin sidelines players, their pain borne quietly in an era without medical aid. The FAS rules, still new, are tested, with debates over offside or fouls halting play, the air heavy with players' protests. Women, in long dresses and shawls, watch from the sidelines, their presence a quiet novelty, their murmurs blending with the men's. The air carries the scent of wet wool and roasted chestnuts from a nearby vendor, a warmth that softens the cold. This final, watched by a small but devoted crowd, marks football's shift from a local pastime to a spectacle. Its rules now a shared language, its stakes a matter of pride. The Wanderers play with flair, their passes quick and precise, while the Engineers rely on strategy, their tackles firm but fair. A goal, scored by Wanderers' Morton Betts, sends the ball between wooden posts, sparking a ripple of applause from the crowd, their cheers muted by the weight of propriety. The referee, a solitary figure in a black coat, blows a whistle to signal plays, his calls barely audible over the hum of voices and the creak of nearby carriages. The air grows tense as the Engineers pressed forward, but the Wanderers hold firm, claiming a 1-0 victory. On the field, players from Wanderers and Royal Engineers, clad in heavy woolen kits, chase a leather ball across a muddy pitch, their boots sinking into the earth. This is the birth of the FA Cup, the world's first formal football competition, a moment that will echo through the sport's history. As we linger in this vibrant scene, let the steady rhythm of the match unfold, a story of triumph and tradition, crafted to soothe and captivate. Imagine yourself standing under a gaslit sky, the air sharp with the scent of wet earth, and the distant roar of a crowd. As we explore the inaugural FA Cup of 1872, a milestone that will cement football's rise. Picture yourself in London, March 80, standing on the edge of the Kennington Oval, a cricket ground repurposed for a historic moment in football. The FA Cup, organised by the Football Association, is a bold step to unify the game. Imagine the tournament's early rounds, played on makeshift pitches across southern England, where 15 clubs, mostly amateur teams of gentlemen in school, alumni compete under the FAS new rules. The Wanderers, a team of former public school boys, face the Royal Engineers, military men with a disciplined style, in this final match. The pitch, though smoother than village fields, is uneven, its grass worn thin by winter rains. The ball, freshly stitched but heavy with damp, thuds sharply as players kick it, their movements a blend of schoolboy finesse and raw determination. The air carries the scent of mud and sweat, mingled with the faint tampes of tobacco from spectators' pipes. The match is a spectacle, yet restrained by Victorian decorum. The crowd, though modest by modern standards, is a microcosm of Victorian society. Challenges mark the FA Cup's early days, yet the FA Cup's success is undeniable. As you picture the oval emptying, the gas lamps dimming, the scent of damp grass lingering, the FA Cup feels like a gentle tide, carrying football toward a brighter future. As the gaslit skies dim over the Kennington Oval and the cheers of the first FA Cup final fade into the quiet of the evening, the muddy pitch stands as a testament to football's growing place in England's heart. From village fields to urban alleys, from schoolyards to organised competitions, the game has woven itself into the fabric of Victorian life, its rules and rivalries uniting communities across divides. Below, a makeshift pitch lies quiet, its boundaries marked by ropes and posts, the earth still bearing the marks of a recent match. In the distance, the soft glow of gas lamps lights up homes. Imagine Sheffield FC, the world's oldest, still playing on a modest field, its players now joined by countless others Notts County, Aston Villa, Blackburn Rovers each, a beacon of community pride, and trading posts, the air heavy with salt and tar. The scent of liniment and sweat clings to their kits, a reminder of the physical toll. Class divides persist. Elite clubs play on manicured pitches, while workers make do with muddy lots. their games squeezed between long shifts. From muddy fields to global pitches, the game's roots endure, its rhythm a gift to the world. The air grows still, the scent of grass softening, and this tale settles into the quiet, a final wave to carry you toward rest. Yet, the game's spirit triumphs, its rules a framework for fair play, its rivalries a spark for unity. We've wandered through the chaotic games of rural villages, the urban alleys where workers played, the schoolyards that gave the game rules, and the taverns where its future was forged. We've felt the pulse of early marches, the debates that shaped them, and the FA Cup's historic dawn, each moment a thread in the game's enduring legacy. The scent of damp grass and inky newsprint lingers, a reminder of a time when football became England's heartbeat, a rhythm now echoing across the world. The air grows heavy with the hum of debates over rules, pitches, or funds, but football endures. Its growth, a steady tide. The struggles of Victorian players, their triumphs, and their dreams are now just whispers, carried away on the evening breeze. Let them drift, as you do, toward the gentle embrace of sleep. Thank you for joining us on this journey through football's Victorian roots. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and let the tides of time carry you into dreams. Good night. In places like Argentina or Brazil, young men kick balls on dusty streets, their games echoing the flair of English workers, the seeds of a global sport taking root. Picture a boy in a northern town, his hands clutching a tattered ball, kicking it across a cobbled yard, his eyes bright with visions of the FA Cup. His game, learned from stories of Wanderers or Sheffield, carries the same rhythm as those early matches, its thud a pulse in England's heart. Women, too, begin to play, their matches rare but bold, their laughter echoing in quieter fields. The air carries the scent of grass and hope as football becomes a shared dream, a thread weaving through generations, its impact felt in every kick and cheer. The air in these far-off lands carries new sensey spices. See your sun-baked earthbuck, the rhythm of football, born in Victorian fields, remains the same. Newspapers, their pages smudged with ink, report matches in London or Sheffield, their stories inspiring players across oceans, a quiet testament to the game's reach. The air carries the thud of leather balls and the soft cheers of crowds, from factory workers to shopkeepers. Their voice is a chorus of shared joy. These clubs, born in pubs and factories, carry the grit of the working class and the discipline of public schools. Their matches a ritual that weaves through Victorian life. The scent of damp wool and roasted chestnuts fills the air at games, a warmth that binds spectators in the cold. And pubs, where talk of football fills the air, its rhythm a constant in a nation transformed by industry and change. This is the legacy of Victorian football, a game that rose from chaotic folk traditions to become a cornerstone of global sport, its roots deep in England's fields and streets. As we linger in this serene moment, let the steady rhythm of this story unfold, a tale of enduring impact woven to calm and captivate. Let us now step back from the churned earth of that historic match to reflect on the broader legacy of these early years, and hedges to the structured matches of the FA Cup, played under rules forged in smoky taverns. The game, once a chaotic release, now binds communities with a shared language 11 players, a kicking game, goals marked by posts. Picture a worker in Manchester, his hands rough from the mill, reading about a match in a newspaper, its inky pages crisp under his fingers, the scent of ale lingering from a pub where he shared the news. Football's rules, spread by railways and press, reach every corner of England, uniting towns in a common passion. Imagine yourself standing on a quiet hill, the air cooled with the scent of grass and the distant whistle of a train, as we explore the lasting impact of Victorian football, a story crafted to soothe and guide you into rest. Picture yourself on a gentle hill overlooking a small English town in the late 1870s, where the evening air is cool, carrying the faint scent of dew-soaked grass and the distant hum of a train winding through the valley. The Victorian era gave football its shape and spirit. Imagine the journey from the wild, sprawling games of rural villages, where men chased the ball across streams. This legacy lives in the clubs that endure. Football's influence stretches beyond England's shores. Picture a merchant ship, its sails taut, carrying the FAS rulebook to colonies. Challenges linger in this legacy. Imagine the struggles of early clubs, fields lost to rain or urban sprawl, balls bursting on rough ground, players nursing injuries with little care. The legacy is also in the dreams it inspires. As you stand on that hill, the town below growing quiet, the distant whistle of a train fading, the legacy of Victorian football feels like a gentle tide. As the lights of the town fade and the soft whistle of the train drifts into the night, we step back from the fields, taverns, and pitches of Victorian England, where football found its form and spirit. Imagine yourself now, far from those muddy pitches and smoky pubs, resting in the quiet comfort of your own world.
Bedankt voor de fantastische ondersteuning van het elftal. Bedankt voor de fantastische ondersteuning van het elftal. En de spelers natuurlijk bedankt. Ook die dames en heren, jongens en meisjes. Bedankt voor de fantastische ondersteuning van het elftal. elftal. Ook u, dames en heren, jongens en meisjes. Bedankt voor de fantastische ondersteuning van het elftal. voor de fantastische ondersteuning van het elftal. fantastische ondersteuning van het elftal. gedaan. Ook niet naar Verenigde Organisaties. Bedankt voor de fantastische ondersteuning van het elftal. fantastische ondersteuning van het elftal. voor de fantastische ondersteuning van het elftal. Bedankt voor de fantastische ondersteuning van het elftal.